down yesterday. No, not yesterday, last week. For the engines. But I'm just looking at the levels. Either I'm talking a lot more quieter than usual, or it's adjusted the sound somewhere along the lines. But anyway, like I said, last week we came all the way from Seattle down to where we just left off. And yeah, that took a while. I think it took about an hour, well, over an hour for the drive. So this will be the most of the stream anyway. But which is also interesting since I changed the preferred link just before we started. So maybe that'll adjust itself when we get it back where we're going. Well, getting where we're going. Because I think that's been one of the reasons why all of a sudden I've been able to catch up to ATS. Don't you slow down, come on, you let me in. Because I was saying yesterday's stream is that because I was playing ETS. I play ETS a lot more than ATS, even though I actually like ATS slightly a little bit better, but I don't know why, but maybe nostalgia because I've had it since it came out, ETS.
Stay right.
But I always liked me long driving. I didn't like short routes. Always the furthest I can drive the better. And because I last played this when it was 1.37 on both of them, actually ATS and ETS, when it was 1.37. And then I sort of stopped for a while. And then just before I started streaming both of them, I started playing ETS again, and then I decided, you know what, I've had enough of this long haul. If I do short hauls, I'll get to see other places I haven't been a lot quicker, and I'll get more jobs to do, and I might end up making money faster that way, you know, because I might end up getting 2 jobs. That'll be the same distance in total that I would have done with the one job, and between the 2 jobs I might end up getting paid more. So I changed it. And because when I started streaming ATS, that was the first time I'd played it since 1.37. And totally forgot that I did that. And yeah, until last week when I realised that it took me so long. I think I finished streaming at 6:30 instead of my normal time, 5:30, just to finish the trip off, and I started the drive way before 5:30. I think just before 5 o'clock. And because of that, obviously you get a lot more money. So, and yep, I went in, changed it today at the beginning of the stream. Hello, why don't you pull out in front of me? But yeah, we pretty much got this trip here, which is almost just as long. Just shy of Seattle, really. For 40,000, which will literally put us even Stevens with ETS2 and the money stakes. So, but I'm hoping
stay left.
That even though before I got this contract and I changed it, that's might need a little bit of time to adjust for that, or maybe I have to restart the game before it actually sets it up like that, applies the change. The worst case scenario is that this is the change. It's just, and I moved it quite a bit too. I didn't move it slightly, I've moved it quite a bit. Oh really, you're not set up for play? Oh, that sucks, mate. Yeah, no, well, the graphic engine update is pretty much one of the major things. I mean, they got the certain little things that I find sort of silly. But the graphical update, yeah, is brilliant. As far as I'm concerned, with this game, it's got the sky looks so realistic during the day. And textures are great and everything else like that. And of course, when ATS came out originally, its graphic engine was a more updated one. They had an updated graphic engine, so ATS always graphically looked a bit better. Oh, really? Oh, no. Oh, so you play Farming Sim as well? Oh, yeah, that's not, yeah, it's not nice, eh? It's not good. I mean, computer games, especially these days, it's just a great little thing to get away from it all, isn't it, and give yourself a bit of enjoyment. Yeah, fair enough. I totally get that, mate. I really do. About FS 19. Oh, I'm really going over the speed limit here, aren't I? Yeah, I mean, I was the same. I mean, I play it because it was. I mean, apart from a couple, I think horses are a stupid thing. The other thing I don't like is the fact that you can't have your animals in an open pasture. They have them in a shed type thing now, and but basically everything's sort of the same. I haven't even bothered with the DLCs for the most part, except for the platinum, because I like the old class gear. But yeah. I was at the beginning. I wasn't impressed with the graphic update. I thought, oh, it's not much of a difference in 17. But I actually went back to 17 one day and had a look. And when I did that, I did actually see that there was actually quite a significant difference between graphics. But it was all the problems at the beginning of it which didn't help. And I know a lot of people went back to FS 17 and didn't bother with it. But I mean, now it's not much different to 17, really, apart from those little changes. Yeah, I suppose I really. The gameplay and everything, the whole reason you play it is it's pretty much the same. There's some improvements, so you got global company and stuff like that, and the season's a little bit better. But it's basically the same game with a bit better graphics. And I also think that for the most part, the maps on the FF17 are better. I played a couple of Oxygen David's maps, which I've played in 15 and 17, and it just didn't have the same look or feel on 19. Yeah, well that's the thing, I mean the DLCs they keep popping out. It's the same stuff, just a different brand name. And most of the time it's all about baling technology, you know, it's here's a baler, here's a baler, here's a DLC with everything to do with bales. You know? Which, I mean, fair enough. There'll be people out there that play the game that, you know, even in the farm know about farming and all that kind of stuff. Like anything, you know, with trucking, everyone's got their own favourite brand. and stuff like that. So if someone's going to buy a baler that does the exact same job as the baler they've already got, but because it's got a different name, one that they prefer, and there's a market for that, well, yeah, Giant's there to make money. That's the whole point. But at some point it gets a little too much. So I mean, I look at 15 and the mods I had. Hardly any mods in 15 because of mods you could literally end up deleting your game. I know some people got mods out and then all of a sudden their game disappeared. You lose saves and all sorts of stuff. And then 17 they just had massive support for mods and it was really, really good. And I had a whole pile of mods, tons and tons of mods. And towards the end of it I went, you know what, I've got all these mods taking up the space in my hard drive, but I hardly ever use them. So I knocked it back in 19. And other things too, there was a lot of good mods in 17 that you can't get in 19 anymore. So yeah, so I was sort of humming and hawing about, well, I was actually adamant that I wouldn't pre-order the next farming sim that was going to come out, which is FS22, of course, now. Because all the problems, even silly things like with your big M, you couldn't even fill it up with diesel at the beginning. I mean, that's a simple thing that shouldn't happen. And other bugs. Oh, I haven't had any problem with the mods at all in 19 at all. And there's some at the beginning, but I was talking to a modder who's pretty well known. A fellow Aussie of yours actually, and he's really, really good with his mods, and he had no problems, he said, because people just didn't want to take the time to know how it was done now because it was different. So, but yeah, I mean, the mods in themselves have been okay. It's just been I really thought I had enough time to get in there, but I didn't, obviously. It's been Giant's updates that have actually created problems with mods, because they're not actually sort of, well, it seems like they don't really care about modders anymore, because they're more concentrating on, like most game things, going to consoles. So, but I've decided to hold back my whole thing on that. I'm actually going to pre-order 22, give it a go, because I've always enjoyed it, and mainly because after one thing I didn't think about all through that and all the problems, and because it was clearly released too early, that the developer, not the developer, the publisher was probably the main cause of it breathing down their neck, and they had contract with them, so they got to keep them happy, and I think it was more them pushing them to release it before they're ready, and now they've got rid of those. They've got rid of Focus as their publishers, and they're publishing it themselves. Yeah, basically, yeah. Like Windows 10. But, yeah, and the fact that they've taken so long, because they released that they were going to hold it back and waiting for all the new next-gen consoles to come out, so they were waiting for all the coding to go with them, and they would have got them the coding way before the consoles come out. And the consoles have been and gone, they've been out for a while now, but we didn't hear for a long time about Giant, so I think they've really taken their time this time and trying to make a huge improvement and everything. So we just have to wait and see. But some mod support I'm more concerned about. I mean, they can pump out a great game. Everyone can pump out a great game, but especially with things like games like simulators and stuff like that, it's really good, but eventually you get sick of playing it. Or you get games that you finish and you play it again and you finish and that's it. Where if it wasn't for modders, things like Farming Sim and a lot of other games, probably even the trucking, you wouldn't play it as long as you do, because there's something new to add, something different to the game, you know? I mean, there are games that you probably play all the time, like for me, Factorio being one of them, because there's so many ways you can do that game. Games like that are brilliant, but even so, mods will still make it even better, because of playing Factorio and then
Go straight.
going on to Bob's and Angel's mods for Factorio, it's pretty much like starting from scratch, like you've never played the game before, which is great. So that's my main concern, the mod support. But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. So anyway, back to the trucking.
Go straight.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. See where they're going. They're bringing out another new graphic engine. They've added seasons now as part of it and all these other bits and pieces. So you have to wait and see. That's all you can do. But I mean, I'm purely going to pre-order it because it's a franchise I've always loved. You know, FS13, which I didn't play that much of, but 15 played it to death. 17 played it to death, and I just saw the other day on 19, which I've burnt out on the farming sim game. I only play it when I stream now, but I used to play it every single day. So, and for the last 6 months or so, I haven't. I stopped playing it, and then I started playing it when I was streaming. I've got about it was 2,300 hours in it. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, as far as this is, I mean, yeah, the graphic updates for this game is I mean, that's the best thing with 1.4. And these guys do it well. SCS does this well. The way they've done this game and kept it up to date and improved it and everything else like that. They're just a model for other developers to follow. Yeah, it does. Actually, I think the cities are bigger. That's one thing I always noticed. I don't know about now because I haven't been to everywhere and sort of the updates and everything else. But yeah, I mean, I started off in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is quite a decent size. San Francisco is quite a decent size. They have been from the start. But yeah.
Go straight.
The only thing I don't see the point in is the walking around function, which is not really walking around, and you can only use it in your garage, in the garage, and the windows that go up and down. Which would, I mean, I like little things like little realistic things like that. Same with Farming Simulator. That's why I have. With FS19, I have the crow add-on, so when the birds fly, you can actually hear the sound of the crows, and the dirt tracks mod, so when you drive along, it leaves tire tracks everywhere, and the more you drive over the same bit, the darker the tracks get, and the longer it takes for the grass to grow back and stuff like that. Little things like that, you know. The other mod which I've got, when it rains, it develops puddles at low-lying areas. I sort of like those little features that just give it added realism. So I mean, I don't mind having the windows in this, so you can put them up and down.
Go straight.
It just adds a little bit of realism. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference to your life or anything like that, but you know what I mean. It's just something to make it more realistic for you, because that's what sort of these games are about. Doing something that you would love to do, and for some reason or other, or not in real life, unable to do. Yeah, definitely. But see, the thing with the mirrors, the windows, The reason why I think they're just pointless, it's great to have them in and you can put them up and down, but what's the point when they're up like they are now and I can still do that?
Right.
Why can't I hit my head against the window and then I can't do that without putting the window down? Otherwise they're just, whoa. I think it's just a pointless add-on. Yeah, well, it can be like with this, yeah, complete service and maintenance, or even a randomised cost to, you know, or how much gone. I mean, I suppose it takes a little bit of programming, really, but it's more about random chance. So, okay, this truck's done this amount of distance. What would normally happen around about there? This bit of the engine could go. This part could go. Here's the cost for this, or something like that, you know. And same with yours. If you're driving yours and you actually have something break on you, like I'd love to have like a flat tyre. What was that? If you have your head against the window, you'd fall asleep. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but you can't lean to it, eh? Unless I tilt my head at the screen, but yeah, no, I'd love to have small things like that. Yeah, a bit more realism and insurance payment. You know, actually write your truck off. You've got to write it off and get insurance and buy a new one. Driving along, like I said, you get a flat tyre and you've got to get someone to come along and tow you, or something breaks down. Just random problems that turn up and eat into your profits. Because I mean, the thing about this game, like most games that sort of similar, where you're starting off and you're putting the work in, going for a bit of grind to get somewhere, and you get that feeling of accomplishment when you get there. There's no end goal to this game. So once you get to like a certain point, like I am with ATS, got so many garages, so many workers and stuff, the money's just flowing in left, right and centre. Really got nothing except to drive, but to drive sakes. And sometimes I think it's good to have a reason to actually just drive other than just driving, you know?
Go straight.
Because for the moment I'm driving to make the money because I need the money, but with my other game private profile, I don't need to do that. I don't need to drive at all. I could just come into the game and let it run for a year without turning it off, and I would have made a pile of money because all my workers and that would have done it.
Go straight.
Yeah, a bit more reason. What do you... yeah, what do you mean a bit more reason for the garages and stuff? You're talking along the lines of, you know, if you're having those bits and pieces, because the more you own, obviously the more trucks can go wrong and all that, but I mean, basically the premise is the same as it is in real life. You start up a company, you're going to end up trying to build that company as much as you want, because everyone wants to make money, you know. And the other bonus is, of course, the more successful you come as a company is the more opportunity you can provide for other people to get themselves a job, to have a better life, sort of thing, you know. Because that's what businesses are sort of there for, really, aren't they? I mean, it's awfully good that in a position you're able to buy your own business and start your own business and do that for the same reason you would actually go to work, to make a living, but you get the opportunity to control what you earn, unlike being an employee. But you still can't do all the work yourself, so you hire other people, and it's in their benefit as much as yours for that business to work, because if that business works, then you get paid, you know. And the more people you can get into work for you, then the more opportunity they've got to gain a wage and have a better life, you know, have the comforts that they want and all that kind of stuff. So therefore, the more you can do that, the more you personally as the owner can make, but also on the other way, more you can provide for other people, you know. it's a symbiotic relationship, but it is. I think a lot of people don't, you know, employees don't sort of remember that. They go to work and all that kind of stuff, and then they want this, that, and the other, and all that. Not all of them, obviously, but people tend to forget. Even if you're an employer or an employee, you know, the goal's the same. The goal is to make money. And to make money, the business has to make money. So it's in everyone's interest that works at a business to make that business work, despite who gets more money than the other.
Stay left.
And obviously, if you do really well and the business starts making more money, then you got the opportunity to get a wage increase and making more money yourself. Yeah. So you're saying you're same as me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'd love. Yeah. Yep. No. Totally agree. Exactly. Except you wrote it better than I said it. But yeah, exactly. A reason to keep going. Yeah, even with the accidents, yeah, it's exactly that. You have the insurance, so if it's not your fault, the other thing too is getting hit. They need to sort out getting hit and stuff. Who's at fault? Instead of half the time you get hit by in this game and you get fined for it and damage. I mean, even that, you know, because you get fined for it and damage, even though it was the other person's fault in the game, but it's the way the game's set up. If they could fix that, but not only them. Is that you have to apply for the insurance or something. That's little side things. Make them optional. I mean, obviously people out there would just like the way it is. But there's people out there would like that option, you know. Might be a little hard work, but I mean, it's just, you know. One day it's got to happen, surely. And things like the one thing that I don't understand is the weighing station. Okay, realistic, let's go in, pull in and get weighed in your truck. But what's the point if you always underweight or on the right weight, you never overweight. And even now and then sneak in the fact that, you know, you're a little overweight and you get fined for it. Yeah. No, I mean, I get that too. I actually go the way, I change that. I go the way, I get myself the best truck and deck it out and stuff like that. And then when I hire drivers, like in my first garage, which I'll probably do it through this playthrough and the ATS one as well, that I normally do, is every time I get to I hire a driver and I fill up that first garage and I go buy a new garage, what I do is I get the driver that's made the most money, was making the most money, and turn that driver into the manager, and then I'll get him a better truck, but not as good as mine, just slightly lower. Like for instance with ETS, I got my Volvo. Well, I've actually got 5 different trucks I use, but mainly it's the Volvo. And I've got the Volvo which has got 750 horsepower. So all the managers in my other garages have the Volvo as well. And but they have the 700 horsepower, and then all the workers have the 600 horsepower one. I mean, literally you could chop and change, because obviously the different setups and that give them the opportunity to take different cargoes. Like some of them are just specialised. You take heavy cargo, you take this, you take that, and don't level them up on anything else. But after a while, that gets a bit of a pain to organise and sort, especially when you've got so many drivers. So I just let them all level up, keep the same thing. I better check how much longer I've got until 3 hours and 40 minutes. Let's say 3.5 hours, which will give me 6, 9, 9 o'clock in the morning to go to sleep. Yeah. I think a lot of people are in the same thing when it comes to that, and I think it's with a lot of other games too. You get to a point that don't have end goals, that get to a point and you really need it. A reason to, you know, keep going. But also I think another problem is back in 5, no, fair enough. Actually, it's time for me to run a 1-minute ad break anyway, so you'll be able to avoid that, and you won't miss much. So I'll do that, and I'll see you back in 5, and well, it's 3 o'clock on the hour. Let's go and run myself what I normally do, which is an ad break. Where's me? There it is. Hello. And if you're a subscriber, it won't work for you. If you're not a subscriber, it most likely won't work for you either, because it tends not to, but I'm not going to say no just in case it works and I get an extra ½ cent before tax. So I'm going to click that on now, running ad. And back into, actually, before we do, let me just do something. You can tell when I alt tab out of the game, the music disappears and then comes back. All right. There it. Trying to find my mouse. That's all I was doing. There it is. Alright, let's carry on. I'm on cruise control anyway, aren't I? So 9 o'clock, I've got to wait for 9 o'clock. I've got to remember the only clock I've got in here is the radio. Might look at other interior options. We're obviously still in California by the speed limit. And the lack of the green grass. Just green grass, not green grass. Say that, never been to California in my life. I'm just going off the game. I could go off television actually, but I mean, these days, a lot of them aren't actually, even when they're based in California, not filmed in California. Actually, a lot of them are based in America and they're not filmed in America. You're done in Canada, aren't they? Tax reasons. was it? Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie.